Bonsoir everyone, welcome to Chacha's Creepy Show. Some time ago I told you stories of mysterious disappearances taken from this book. Tonight I'm going to finish sharing the second part of the fascinating stories reported in this book. And of course, all of these stories took place in France. Let's go. Let's start with a dark story about flowers. In France, we have a tradition of giving lily of the valley for Labor Day on the 1st of May. It's the early 1960s, near Magny-en-Vexin in the countryside, about 60 kilometers from Paris. That day, a couple decides to go searching for lily of the valley in the wild. They look for a long time. I can confirm that lily of the valley is not easy to find in the wild. But eventually, near a small road, the couple sees below a ditch covered in grass a very old stone wall, half collapsed, a real ruin, with a few trees behind it. The couple decides to climb down the slope and climbed over the wall. We are in France. There's much less risk than elsewhere of accidentally entering private property. Just saying. But in this case, the place clearly seems abandoned, overgrown, deserted. It's dark and damp. There are brambles on the other side of the wall, a fallen tree covered in moss, and in that very spot, there is an extraordinary amount of lily of the valley. Naturally, the couple pounces on the poor flowers, but they're in a hurry to finish, because it's unnaturally cold in that place. Climbing a ruined wall and risking injury? Sure. Catching a little spring cold? No thanks. So they quickly gather all the flour they need and rush to make their way back to their car. The following year, it's Labor Day again, and the couple need their lily of the valley fix. So they got back to the place, to their secret spot whose location they had carefully noted the year before. And their surprise, no lily of the valley. But not just that. There's no crumbling wall either. The entire place has vanished. The spot looks completely different. The couple doesn't even recognize the area. There's nothing here. It's as if the place they discovered the year before had never existed. The next story shares similarities with the previous one. It takes place in the countryside, not far from Paris, and again it involves a couple of walkers, but this one is even more incredible. No exact date is given, but I believe it happened a few decades ago. We are in the Loiret region, a beautiful part of the French countryside. It's a Sunday in January. A couple is walking through the countryside, heading toward the village of Cerdon. They are driving through a forest with frosted trees. It's very cold and a thick fog covers everything. Suddenly, without any transition, the forest completely vanishes around them. But that's not all. The weather changes in the blink of an eye. It's suddenly very warm. The icy winter sky suddenly becomes bright blue. A flock of birds flies overhead under the heat of a summer sun. In front of the stunned couple is a strange village that seems frozen in time. The houses are made of wood. There are no sidewalks in the streets. Small streams run alongside the buildings, but stranger still. The houses appear empty. There doesn't seem to be a single person around. The couples decide to get out of the car and walk down the main street. They pass a wooden church that looks brand new. They walk all the way to the edge of the village, where there's a wooden bridge crossing a small river between two flower-filled meadows, but the fact that they're alone is extremely strange. They entered the village about 15 minutes ago and haven't seen a soul. They eventually head back to their car to leave, and the very moment they turn the ignition, the landscape vanishes. No more village, no meadows, no blue sky, only the misty, frosted forest. And of course, the temperature falls again. After this very strange incident, the couple tried to return to the mysterious village, but in vain. Several times they tried to revisit the spot, but the village never existed. The locals had never heard of it. I find that as chilling as it is fascinating. The next story could be a poltergeist story. It took place in 1950 on a property in the village of La Poirinière. For about 2 months, from April to May, the occupants of the house noticed unexplainable events. It started with a simple bundle of asparagus left on the kitchen table. This pile of asparagus slowly disappeared before everyone's eyes, without anyone understanding what was happening. The missing asparagus were found scattered in different places of the house, even in rooms locked with keys. Then in the barn, a pile of Jerusalem artichokes gradually disappeared in front of the witnesses. Eggs vanished too. One witness was very surprised to find an empty eggshell in his hat and the egg's contents in his shoe. Annoying. The last story is totally bizarre, but I love it. It happened in Metz a few years ago. A woman named Isabelle invited her friend Dominique to have dinner at a McDonald with their young children. While they were eating, they noticed a strange man sitting across from them. The guy was poorly dressed, or rather, his style was just odd. But what fascinated Dominique, his friend, and their children the most was the weird activity the man was doing. It looked like a fever dream. The man was moving sugar cubes, laid out into a semi-circle on his tray, with jerky movements. He was shifting the sugar cubes rapidly while muttering inaudible words. Another strange thing, despite how odd the scene was, only Dominique, Isabelle and their kids seemed to notice him in the restaurant. No one else paid any attention to him, as if no one else could ever see him. At one point, near the end of the meal, Dominique couldn't hold back his curiosity. He got up and sat across from the stranger. He asked him what the hell he was doing. The reply was as strange as the man himself. He answered, "I am the numerologist with the sugary medium. I can reveal the arcana of your future life."
Just typical response.
Dominique sat there for a long time, watching him, fascinated, very quickly with great dexterity. The so-called numerologist kept shifting the sugar cubes, sometimes swapping them with small coins. Dominique was really intrigued. But it was getting late. The kids were done eating and getting impatient. Dominique reluctantly got up to leave. As he did, he realized the man had also decided to leave the restaurant. Dominique noticed he was limping. Then they left the McDonald's with his friends and their children, but it was once outside, in the crowd, that the most disturbing thing happened. As the small group was already walking away, Isabelle's young daughter turned around and suddenly shouted, "Mom, look! The man from McDonald's. He's flying." Isabelle and Dominique burst out laughing and later regretted not turning around. I warned you, this story is completely nuts. That's all for tonight. Merry Christmas to you, your family, and to everyone you love. I wish you peace, love, and prosperity in your homes. I'll be back soon once I've rested after eating too much and taking care of my husband's yearly flu. Once again, Merry Christmas. Bye.